I heard that Bronwyn Bishop, because she's quite short, used to bring a little stool with her so that she would rise above the podium, but I don't have that today, so hopefully you can all see me. Okay. Firstly, I just wanted to say thanks to Steve for inviting me to present a keynote today. I have chosen a classic structure to get through a number of topics in a relatively short time, and hopefully they'll give you a bit of a flavour of me and also what's happening in the New South Wales political landscape. So I'm Jacqui Munro, a Liberal member of the New South Wales Parliament in the Upper House, and actually just yesterday announced as the Shadow Assistant Minister for Arts, Innovation, Digital Government and the 24-hour economy. So I, as a member of the Upper House, sit in the Legislative Council, this is what it looks like, and it's our state's version of the Senate. So I've been elected for 8 years to represent the people of New South Wales. And I should say that while I am a loyal member of the opposition, my political disclaimer is to note that this address does not yet reflect any formal positions of the opposition, but it does contain insights that I've gained through my elected term so far. So I believe that updates to planning, education and the public service would provide clear benefits to drive private investment in New South Wales. Broadly, I see government's role in innovation and entrepreneurialism in 3 categories, and you can read more about my thoughts on this in a piece I wrote for Innovation Oz earlier in the year. But essentially they are mission orientation, regulatory leverage and environmental stability. And I won't dive into mission orientation today, but it is essentially government setting big hairy goals like net zero by 25, and industry and investment can rally around those goals. What I will explore is the idea of regulatory leverage, which is utilising planning and education policy to enhance opportunities for growth, investment and innovation, and also environmental stability, which is around employing an expert public service to ensure that our governments are well equipped with the tools that they need to serve you and industry and the people of New South Wales. So just so you know, this is what the Legislative Council looks like up the top, and it is the Upper House in New South Wales as opposed to the Lower House or Legislative Assembly where, for example, the Premier sits. And like in the Federal Senate, the New South Wales coalition with crossbenchers have the power to amend and reject legislation because the government does not hold a majority. So the New South Wales Upper House really is a true place of political power, and it's a good place to engage with politicians if that's something that you're interested in. We also have the power as a Legislative Council to demand the release of government documents, from departmental briefings to correspondence with stakeholders and ministerial advice. And obviously this is a very important tool to holding government to account. And we also get the opportunity to grill ministers publicly twice a year during budget estimates, which is coming up. So my why, really after 16 months in the job, I've started to develop a core mission to demystify innovation, demonstrate how it can transform society for the better, and help create an environment where investment and entrepreneurship is normalised. Not only normalised, but encouraged and also celebrated. I believe that our nation's standard of living, quality of life and prosperity rely upon it. We deserve to be a nation of possibilities for all. The portfolios I'm now responsible for in the opposition are at the heart of why I got involved in politics, why I joined the Liberal Party 13 years ago. This is me when I was at a Keep Sydney Open rally back when I really disagreed very strongly with our party's position to impose lockout laws on the city. So innovation, digital government, the 24-hour economy, arts, for me, they encapsulate aspiration, curiosity, hard work, a bit of fun, and the desire to make the world a better place for ourselves and at best each other. In my view, these are core Liberal values and they're at the heart of innovation. Something like these values brought Steve and I together when we met over a shared horror that the federal Labor government proposed to extinguish the flame of enthusiastic, sophisticated investors like you by making it harder for individuals to put their money where they wanted to and receive tax treatment that appropriately incentivised investment, particularly in early stage innovation companies. I'm really pleased to say that those changes were squashed after the investor activism of people like Steve Baxter, Campbell Newman, Cheryl Mack of Aussie Angels. It was a really important and effective demonstration of how involvement in politics can change the government's direction, especially when it has to do with bad policy that would impact the nation's prosperity. And I also want you to know that there are politicians who are listening and willing to engage on my side of politics. So at a federal level, we have Paul Fletcher, Andrew Bragg, Andrew Violi, Paul Scar and Dave Sharma. And also at a state level, myself, James Griffin and Mark Curé, who are champions in the area of committing to a thriving economy that sees the value of innovation, tech, venture capital and entrepreneurship. We believe in reducing red tape, lowering taxes, investing in infrastructure, which includes digital infrastructure, maintaining fiscal discipline to decrease debt, embedding productivity gains in government expenditure and decentralisation, and importantly, providing a strong foundation for young people to become positive, independent contributors to society and the economy. So the next aspect of the meat of today is the what. It is really, in my view, that, there you go, if governments fail to create conditions where investment and entrepreneurship, capital and ventures are easy to connect, we will fail to replace Australia's primary source of unparalleled economic growth, which has been mining. So that's really core and obviously why you're here today. What we end up losing is opportunities like being global leaders in autonomous underwater vehicles, where a Sydney University team developed a unique prototype but failed to gain funding to commercialise and was subsequently poached with attractive international offers. We need to stop this kind of outflow from Australia. So first of all, in my view, planning and zoning, because they fundamentally determine the way that we utilise land, is critical when considering the priorities of government and incentivising activities that provide exciting investment opportunities. And we know that even in the hybrid work era, physical place plays a huge role in developing successful startups. Work by the New South Wales Innovation and Productivity Council revealed the collaborative environment that innovation districts around New South Wales create have led to a 70% increase in the likelihood of new-to-world innovation being created and a 32% increase in the likelihood of new-to-Australia innovation. So what is an innovation district? Macquarie Park is one. The Macquarie Park Innovation District, it's Australia's original innovation precinct. It boasts the most IP registration of any postcode across the country and is home to Cochlear, Macquarie University, NextDC and Abbott, with over 200 emerging small businesses. So it was expected that this area would be a source of 23,000 new jobs over the coming decades. And yet the New South Wales Labor government has decided to put this momentum at serious risk by rezoning the area to include residential parcels and offering a 50% land value reduction for tax purposes for developers constructing build-to-rent high-rises in the area. And this has left jobs and innovation by the wayside, really steamrolled. It's a travesty for the state's innovation opportunities and economic growth. We are already seeing companies like biotech firm Agros leave the area for greener pastures and developers changing their plans to, fair enough, maximise return in response to the government's intervention on housing. And of course, I accept that we need more homes in New South Wales. They must be planned to enhance and not impede economic growth. This is a failure of government planning and will make our state poorer in the long run. Similarly, we must also mitigate the risk of losing the next generation of investors to overseas opportunities and poor decision-making. The ASX found that next-gen investors aged 18 to 25 don't know what investments to select, hold considerably fewer domestic shares than any other age group, and are most likely to invest internationally. Yet, fascinatingly, they are also the least likely to accept moderate to high variability with potential for higher returns. This means that there is a huge opportunity to educate an already interested audience, and we must build this capacity and desire early because it's clear that the more experienced the investor, the larger the portfolio. Again, according to the ASX, the median portfolio for investors with 10 or more years of experience investing is almost double the median portfolio for investors with between 5 and 10 years experience. Further, high-value investors are more likely to have over 10 years of investing experience than non-high-value investors. And these stats are perhaps not surprising, but they are notable when we're looking to drive growth and develop new investor pools. Finally, an expert public sector is critical to developing and implementing good policy because there is a place for government between picking winners and overcrowding the market. like this billion-dollar investment made in a single quantum computing company at the expense of an entire nationwide industry. This is something that has been in the news quite a lot, essentially $1 billion of government money going into one single company at a stage of the industry's growth that means there are many pathways for expansion and possibility. And this is just one example of how a government can really misspend funds and end up really essentially stifling the rest of the industry, which is now in a great deal of fear that money will go to other states and this single company instead of perhaps spending half the amount of the $1 billion and investing in a range of different companies to develop an ecosystem. And on the other side, you've got a government like in New South Wales that is exiting the market completely. So last year, we were speaking earlier about the grants programs that have been cut in New South Wales. So that included the most popular grant in Australia for startups, the MVP Ventures grant. It was eventually brought back after activism, essentially, by innovators and investors, but it has been brought back at a severely cut rate, and it will damage significantly the ecosystem that we see in New South Wales and the opportunities for startups to demonstrate their worth and also to assist de-risking for investors. So an expert public sector should be able to find government in terms of assisting that it finds its place, minimising intervention, but still maximising the benefit to the taxpayer. It's careful balance between mitigating risk without crowding out the market. Undertaking appropriate government bootstrapping, effective engagement with industry, and useful government procurement requires expert knowledge and experience, particularly when it comes to innovation industries and new technology. It also gives the private sector more confidence and more opportunities to contribute to the state's development, which I know you're all interested in. Unfortunately, it's examples like the removal of the Modern Manufacturing Commissioner at a state level, while it was confusingly being adopted at a federal level, and also the removal of the position of the Chief Data Scientist in New South Wales, are examples of the industry experts within government getting the chop and consequent decision-making becoming a lot worse. So it's not good enough to just have generalists providing advice to ministers or executing policy decisions, but this is a deliberate direction that senior public servants in the New South Wales government are taking to simplify staff reshuffles to the detriment of the New South Wales taxpayer and investors. So how do we address some of these challenges? We want to create more opportunities for investment, and governments must provide certainty where possible to equip people with empowering information and make opportunities clearly available. So it requires a nuanced approach to planning and zoning for land use, updates to the public education system, and building expertise within the public service. The New South Wales government should explore creating new land zoning classification under employment lands to specify and protect land that could be used for tech-related industries, startups and scale-ups, modern manufacturing and research as well. This would be applied to existing innovation precincts like Macquarie Park, Westmead, Liverpool, Tech Central, and be used as the basis for new locations. Ryde Council is currently exploring a mechanism like this, so watch this space. Further, land tax concessions are a powerful tool to explore to reduce rent, costs, and overheads for companies contributing to these districts. In education, we have a real opportunity. Education about investing and about entrepreneurship must be strengthened through the high school curriculum. While I was able to play around on fake stock markets through economics in high school, this should be expanded to reach all students through mathematics. Further, taking a leaf out of the Swiss, who have topped the Global Innovation Index for 13 years in a row, more technical colleges related to investing and entrepreneurship would be highly beneficial, including apprenticeship-style pathways for young people to follow professional careers or gain mentorship. Educating people from a young age about financial responsibility and opportunity plays a critical role in equipping the nation to invest rather than speculate. And then finally, hiring and developing an expert public service will strengthen procurement processes, focus grant programs, and offer more confidence to private investors that government money is being spent effectively. Recently, I recommended to the government through an inquiry that they appoint an AI commissioner, which has since been watered down to a chief AI officer. I'm still not really sure what that means, but we'll see if it actually gets implemented. obviously a really critical area for investment and innovation. Embedding technical experts in the bureaucracy is critical if we want to deliver the best possible government services to New South Wales taxpayers and the world. So when do we do this and where? Well, I would say now. I'm obviously advocating for this strongly in my roles, and I would encourage you to get involved politically if you feel that there's something that would benefit you, if you feel that there are barriers in place. I would love to hear any feedback on these policy areas that I've raised and more ideas that you have, things that would make your life easier and where you see future opportunities. I also want to say a very quick thank you again to Steve Torso, and I think that federally there's a real opportunity to lobby for the increase of the early stage investment tax offset and the limit federally. So at a state level, you have other opportunities. You can find more information that will be coming out soon. Obviously, I'm in opposition, but the Labor government have said that they will be releasing a New South Wales innovation blueprint in September, which has been slightly controversial, but will hopefully be useful. I mean, I'm in opposition, but I want progress to occur in this space, of course. We don't just bow out of the race and lose momentum. We start losing entirely, and it's very difficult to get back up and running. So the other thing is a trade statement that will be coming out, which will hopefully identify international partners and opportunities. And if you're looking for more insights into the government and the opposition's thinking around ministerial priorities, then you can watch budget estimates. They're live streamed in late August and early September, and they give you some real information about plans that are upcoming and ways that you can utilise the political system effectively to ensure that you're investing successfully and productively and contributing to our state and our nation's economic prosperity. Thank you.